I'll do emergency. Okay, so notice I set commands to do all these animations, but they didn't all play at once. Notice how it says animation in queue, animation in queue, animation in queue. What that means is those are all going like onto the stack. And as soon as the dancer is done, then it'll say, oh, who's next? Okay, it's Cheers. Okay, after Cheers, who's next? Oh, it's the funeral, you know? Okay, after funeral, who's next? Oh, it's emergency, right? So I basically had to build this queuing mechanism, and it was kind of time-consuming and painful. And I remember thinking to myself, why isn't there just some built-in thing in the Lioran board where it automatically queues, or I have the option to queue versus not queue? It didn't have it. And another feature that it didn't have was, what if I want to disable a button? What if for some reason I want to turn off boom, or I want to turn off funeral, I want to turn off, you know, flatline or whatever? I couldn't. The only way I could turn buttons off is I had to go into the code, and I had to start kind of doing some funny business where I'm like, false, you know, don't do it unless this is also set to true, which is a pain, right? Well, this is where StreamerBot code is so much easier. So I'm going to show you how I did 2 new animations using StreamerBot code, and how StreamerBot code has a built-in queuing mechanism, which is you don't have to use it if you don't want to, but it's there, okay? And I can disable an animation that I created so easily. It's like just super simple. It's the way it should have been. So now that I'm switching over to using StreamerBot in place of Lioran board versions 1 and 2, which right now I'm using 2 versions of Lioran board to do everything that I need, I'm slowly starting to transition over to StreamerBot, which Nutty says is the best, and I'm starting to agree. It's so powerful. All right, so I created this new action called Cat Jam. What does it do? It puts a little image of a cat that's kind of jamming to some music on the screen, right? And I also created another one called Dog Dance, and it has a little dog that appears on the screen, and it starts dancing to the tune of La Bamba, right? So right now, when I created these 2, I didn't make them queued or blocking, okay? So basically, if I edit my action, I can look at it, and it says queue is default. Now notice, there's an option down here that says blocking. I don't have that selected right now. I just have the default. What that means is, if I play Cat Jam and the Dog Dance at the same time, they will play at the same time, and the audio from each will be like stomping on each other. But all I had to do is, actually, it was 2 steps. You go to like settings, you go to general, and then in here, I didn't have the blocking action, but all I had to do was say my, you know, blocker, something like that, and I make my own queue type, and I say it's a blocking type, and I say add. So now in my action queues, I have one called my blocker because I just created, just like I created the blocking one, right? So if I come back to my action, now when I edit my action, if I look at my queue options, I have another one called my blocker. If I choose either blocking or my blocker, they will allow only one action to be, that action, like nothing else can play until that action is done. It is a blocking action. So even if everybody else says to do 10 things, they won't go until this one's done, okay? Now, I don't have that turned on yet, so I'm gonna show you how it looks for each of them when they are non-blocking, as is the default. And I have it set to the default for Dog Dance too. Let me double check. I think I do. I just want to double check. So if I look at my queuing type, yeah, it says default, okay? So there it is, and I'm gonna type in the chat Cat Jam, and you can see what this animation does. Okay, you saw that, right? Little 12-second cat jam, no big deal. Now, I also have one called Dog Dance, which is also about 10 or 12 seconds. This guy, when it's played by itself, no problem. Little animation pops up, dancing happens, it's all good, right? Let me go ahead and hide my, my alternate view, okay? So now I have just this desktop. So now, what happens if I play both of them at the same time? Cat Jam, and then somebody plays Dog Dance. See? They're both playing at the same time, and listen to that audio. It's like all jumbled and playing at the same time. So I might say to myself, I think these two animations, which come from StreamerBot, I think I want them to be blocking. I don't want one to play until the other one's done. So what I do is I come in here to my, and we're going to change it from Q equals default to blocking. Or I could pick my blocker. They both do the same thing. I'm also going to come over here to dog dance, which does the same thing, except it sets the dog dance image to be visible for 13 seconds, and then it sets it to be invisible. And I'm going to set its queuing type to be blocking, okay? So now that I'm going to save my settings, okay? So now that I've done that, I'm going to come back over here and hide my view. Now I'm going to try to play cat jam and dog jam at the same time. Okay, cat jam, dog dance. So notice, I tried playing dog dance, but it wouldn't play. And so I think dog dance is in the queue. I didn't really test this part of it. I think it's in the queue, and I think as soon as the cat jam is done, then the dog dance starts. Now, look, I tried playing the cat jam, and it won't play. It's gonna wait until the dog dance is done, and then it's gonna play the cat jam. So, I don't have a little message saying animation in queue. I could do that. I could do that very easily. Yo, Dragon King, what's up? Welcome to the channel. And there is your profile picture raining down, Blue Dragon King 32. One of my new features using StreamerBot, which is the exact tool that I'm actually demoing right now.